All right, it's 5 a.m. in the morning. Eric and myself are on the job. He's unloading the 2x6 right here, which is going to be the formwork for this area. What we're doing is continuing this pour. We're going to run a form right down the side of this to adjoin to that parking lot over there. Then we're also going to pour concrete underneath this little awning. The way I'm going to start to dig this out, and this is what I do pretty much on all my jobs, I start with the perimeter, dig the perimeter, and then I get a string line up as quick as possible. That way, once that string line goes up, I can see grade and just start cutting, you know, into the middle at that point. So I'm going to run my tractor right along this edge to start with. Then we can pull a string line right along these posts or snap a line, whatever, on the post. Then I'll move on over here, take the tractor, cut it right down where this form's going to go. And then I'm going to cut it on this side. Then I'll get two string lines up on both sides. They'll be at elevation. Then I can kind of get a good feel for how much dirt I'm going to cut out of here. All right, let's get down to it. Hi, David Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. This is about 3 phases. This is about the 3rd phase on this site. We're just connecting some of the previous concrete I did to their existing concrete. That way they can drive the forklift right across this area. Because the forklift they have is, meant to be on concrete. It's not an all-wheel drive, off-road type forklift. It has to be on something hard, otherwise it gets stuck really quick. So here's the process. Just got the first cut along the edge, and then I follow that on through, right through the middle. Eric's in the background setting the form on the outside of those posts. It's actually on the inside of the post, so each form is cut to go on the inside of those posts. Here's the moment of truth, pulling the first string line to see how close I am on my initial cut. That steel stake is driven on the inside of the line. That way my form can pass right on by it. So the line's up, and now I've just got to cut a little bit more, because this is going to be 6-inch deep concrete. I have to have enough space to get a 2x6 in there. That's about 5.5 inches. Same thing here, 5.5 inches deep. The other concrete that we're joining there, I did 4 inches, but it's doing well. No cracks in it other than on the control joints. There's going to be a little swell in this pad that goes from right to left along the post. If you take a string line along those posts straight on across, that's where your swell's going to be. So I actually had to cut the lumber to meet that contour. Now Eric's compacting. We have the Milwaukee plate compactor, battery powered. I'm selling my gas powered stuff right now on Facebook Marketplace. This is number 3 rebar on 2-foot centers. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to flatten this gravel out, because whenever I'm finishing concrete, I like a nice flat surface where I'm walking, running all my pole floats and stuff. So I kind of smooth out, flatten out the exterior of the concrete pour. That way I'm not tripping over anything. You know, it's much easier just to get around the site. That light, we're dark, so I have a light tower, and that's the Milwaukee battery powered light tower. I got two guys here that actually they used to work for, or they might still work off and on for Aztec Concrete, but now they're working for me today on this job. As we pour this out, we're lifting the rebar up. We have a little specialty tool. It's actually for a fifth wheel detach hook. We use that to pull the rebar up and wire. There's something that wasn't mixed very well, a little ball in the concrete. Four-foot magnesium bull float with a rocker arm. I'm considering getting a roller tamp. Let me know how those work. I mean, I've used them before when they first came out. We used them quite often, but it's been a while since I've used one. Let me know if anyone else out there uses them, and if they like them, if they're worth getting. There's another ball. But that ball kit ended up coming in pretty handy, because it was so dry that we used that to pack underneath the pipe or the railing for that rack that's over there. So we hand packed that dry pack underneath so the concrete wouldn't run underneath. So it worked out pretty good having that. So this concrete slopes towards the rack because the concrete we're joining to right here also slopes in that direction towards the Connex. So we had to make sure we got good drainage from the near side to the far side. There's a 12-inch wide, half-inch radius walking edger. Eric's catching the edges with the hand float. Here's the layout for the joints. We snapped those lines with the dry line across. Then we're just following them with this 4-foot long cutter, 2.5 inches deep. We've got the joints cut about 7.5 feet. And we're gonna do one more the long ways. We're gonna do that with a saw the next day. That way it matches what I've already started. So I did the other pours the same way. Hand joints across, saw cut lengthwise. There's Big Blue. Doesn't look blue anymore, but that's what I still call it when it was blue. Here's your funny trowel knocking out the lines from the joiner. Here's Greg on his knee boards, catching along the edge of that rack. So this is getting pretty close to broom time. So you can tell we used the funny float first, and then we followed it up with the funny trowel. Here I am out on the sliders.
You know that? You're an absolute.
He fucking enjoys it. He just doesn't like the big. He likes little ones.
Well, then you're perfect for me, buddy.
I guess Eric and Doug have made up now. Here's the first broom stroke going on. I just went down on the sliders along that entire edge. And this was the final pass. Now it's all ready to broom. Here's the curing compound going on. And that about wraps up this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.